Throughout history, the Jewish people have been known as masters of business and finance. Though they make up only a small fraction of the world's population, they hold an extraordinary amount of wealth, knowledge, and influence in the global economy. Their success is not by chance, stems from strategic thinking, financial discipline, and a unique mindset that transforms even the smallest opportunities into powerful empires. In this video, Thai Production will take you deep into 5 brilliant business stories rooted in Jewish wisdom, simple yet profound tales that hold centuries of distilled strategy and insight. Each story is more than just a narrative. It's a principle, a real-life business lesson, and perhaps the spark that can ignite your own path to success. So watch closely, reflect deeply, and extract the golden truths hidden in these 5 stories. Because once you finish this video, you might just find yourself one step closer to mastering the art of wealth, guided by the timeless business mindset of the Jewish people. If you find this content valuable, don't forget to like the video, share it with those who need a little inspiration, and subscribe for more powerful stories and life-changing insights. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below, sharing your biggest takeaway or any struggles you're facing in your business journey. Your comment helps us grow and create even better content to support you on the path to success.
Russ and Daughters, a clever business story rooted in Jewish traditio. In the history of global business, the Jewish community has often stood out for its sharp thinking, adaptability, and clever strategies. One of the most inspiring examples of these qualities is the story of Joel Russ, the founder of Russ and Daughters, an iconic Jewish culinary brand in New York City. Joel Russ immigrated to the United States from Poland in the early 20th century. Like many others, he arrived in New York with nothing but hope and a determination to build a better life. He started out pushing a small cart, selling traditional Jewish delicacies such as herring and smoked salmon, staples in the Eastern European Jewish diet. Rain or shine, he worked tirelessly, moving from street to street to make a living and slowly save enough to grow his business. In 1914, after years of hard work, Joel opened a modest food store in the Lower East Side, a bustling neighborhood filled with fellow Jewish immigrants. His store offered kosher foods prepared according to Jewish dietary laws, which earned him trust and loyalty from the community. What set Joel Russ apart wasn't just his perseverance or business sense, it was a groundbreaking decision he made regarding the store's name. Unlike most businesses at the time, which typically used names like and Sons, Russ had 3 daughters, Hattie, Ida, and Anne. In an unprecedented move, he chose to name the business Russ and Daughters. This was the first business in the United States to use "and Daughters" in its name at a time when women were rarely acknowledged in the world of commerce. This bold decision wasn't just a nod to his daughter's abilities, it was a statement of faith, equality, and family unity. This clever branding made the store stand out in a sea of competitors. Customers weren't just drawn in by the quality of the food, they were touched by the sincerity and warmth behind the name. The personal story embedded in the brand created an emotional bond with customers, one that couldn't be replicated through traditional advertising. From humble beginnings, Russ and Daughters grew into one of the most beloved food institutions in New York. Today, over a century later, the business is still thriving, run by the 4th generation of the Russ family. The brand has expanded to multiple locations, been featured in books, films, and food shows, and is now recognized as a true cultural landmark. The story of Russ and Daughters teaches us that clever business isn't just about profit margins. It's about building something authentic, something human. Joel Russ wasn't just a smart businessman. He was a visionary who knew the power of trust, family, and tradition. The subtle wisdom of Jewish business. Lessons from Joel Russ and the legacy of Russ and Daughters. In the bustling streets of early 20th century New York City, where immigrants from all over the world came seeking a better life, Joel Russ arrived with little more than ambition and grit. A Jewish immigrant from Eastern Europe, Russ didn't just bring his dreams, he brought with him a story, a heritage, and a sharp sense of value. Starting humbly with a barrel of pickled herring on his back, he went from being a street vendor to founding what would become one of New York's most iconic delis, Russ and Daughters. At first glance, this may appear to be just another immigrant success story, but the real brilliance of Joel Russ lies not simply in his determination or entrepreneurial success, but in the deep-rooted Jewish mindset that shaped every decision he made, an approach that transcends cultures and holds profound lessons for anyone in business today. What made Joel Russ different wasn't just his ability to sell smoked fish, but his ability to tell a story through what he sold. Jewish business philosophy places great importance on meaning, tradition, and emotional connection. When Russ made the unconventional decision to name his store Russ and Daughters, he was not just branding a business, he was making a statement about values. At a time when most stores were named after fathers and sons, his choice to honor his daughters in the brand name was both a tribute to family and a quiet revolution. It told the world that business isn't just commerce, it's legacy, respect, and the power of trust passed between generations. The success of Russ and Daughters wasn't built on flashy marketing or large investments. It was built on personal trust, integrity, and consistency. The Jewish approach to business often emphasizes this very idea. People buy the person before they buy the product. Joel Russ didn't need to shout for attention. His humility and dedication spoke louder than any slogan could. His deli didn't just serve food, served a sense of home, familiarity, and cultural pride for thousands of Jewish immigrants looking for a taste of their roots in a foreign land. But perhaps the most profound takeaway lies in Russ's understanding of legacy. He knew that business isn't a sprint, it's a relay. By involving his daughters and later generations of family members, he passed on not just a company, but a set of values. In Jewish culture, the idea of business as a long-term narrative is essential. Wealth is not measured merely by profit margins, but by the strength of the values, knowledge, and traditions handed down. Joel Russ built a business designed to last not just in market relevance, but in soul. Underlying all of this is a remarkable principle seen in many Jewish business stories: the ability to create distinctiveness out of the ordinary. Joel sold smoked fish, a common product, but the way he did it, rooted in meaning, integrity, and a story of identity, made it extraordinary. This is the essence of Jewish business acumen, not to chase after difference, but to become different through deeper meaning and thoughtful action. In a world that constantly encourages us to chase trends, scale quickly, and prioritize metrics, The legacy of Joel Russ reminds us of something far more enduring. Business begins not with capital, but with character, not with what you sell, but with why you sell it. If there is one lesson that we can draw from this story, it is this: don't just sell a product, sell a piece of who you are. And perhaps that is the quiet wisdom that continues to shape some of the most resilient and respected businesses in the world. Isaac Oscherwitz, From Sausage Seller to Kosher Empire. In the rich tapestry of Jewish business success stories, the tale of Isaac Oscherwitz stands out as a shining example of vision, cultural insight, and relentless entrepreneurial spirit. His journey from a modest sausage vendor to the founder of a sprawling kosher meat empire is not merely a story of financial growth. It is a lesson in deeply understanding your market, honoring cultural values, and scaling with integrity. Isaac Oscherwitz began his journey in the early 20th century as an immigrant in the United States. Like many Jewish immigrants, he faced the dual challenges of adapting to a new world while preserving the sacred traditions of his heritage. Among these traditions, keeping kosher, a set of dietary laws central to Jewish faith and identity, was non-negotiable for many Jewish families. However, in a rapidly industrializing American food market, kosher options were limited, poorly regulated, and often unreliable. Oscherwitz saw this not as a problem, but as an opportunity. He understood that food is more than sustenance in the Jewish culture, is deeply tied to religion, identity, and trust. With this insight, he began producing kosher sausages with a commitment to the strictest kosher standards. But unlike other vendors who merely used the kosher label to appeal to the Jewish market, Isaac built a system of rigorous oversight, transparency, and community trust. He collaborated with rabbinical authorities to ensure religious accuracy and earned a reputation not just for delicious products, but for moral integrity. What set Oscherwitz apart was his refusal to compromise quality for profit. While competitors may have taken shortcuts, he invested in cleanliness, ethical sourcing, and certification processes that reassured even the most observant communities. As demand grew, so did his operations. Over time, the Oscherwitz brand became synonymous with kosher excellence in America. His company expanded into a multi-generational business, supplying kosher meats across states and serving Jewish communities with unwavering dedication. Isaac's success wasn't just built on the product he sold, it was built on the values he upheld. His story reminds us that in business, especially in niche markets, true growth comes from understanding your customer on a deeper level. He didn't just sell sausages, he sold trust, respect, and cultural connection. He built a bridge between tradition and modernity and showed that scaling a business does not mean abandoning the core values it was built upon. The remarkable business journey of Isaac Oscherwitz is a powerful testament to the strategic brilliance and ethical foundations that define Jewish entrepreneurship. At a time when many were focused on competing in mainstream markets, Isaac chose to serve a specific niche, the Jewish community seeking kosher-certified meat. This decision was not merely about identifying an untapped market, it was a deep understanding of cultural values, religious observance, and long-term trust. He didn't just provide meat, he provided assurance, respect for tradition, and consistency in quality. Rather than compromising on standards for short-term profit, Isaac upheld the highest levels of cleanliness, integrity, and compliance with religious laws, even when it made the business more difficult. He worked closely with religious leaders, ensuring every product met the strict kosher requirements, thus building a reputation not just as a butcher, but as a trusted figure in the community. His story teaches us that true success often lies not in chasing what everyone else is doing, but in finding value where others see limitations. By starting small, staying committed to his values, and expanding steadily without losing sight of his roots, Isaac created a legacy that endured. His story is not just about selling it's about selling trust, values, and a deep connection to community. For aspiring entrepreneurs, the lesson is clear. Business success is not only about profit margins, but also about understanding people, culture, and the power of unwavering integrity. Today, the legacy of Isaac Oscherwitz continues to inspire entrepreneurs around the world. His journey proves that when you align business with identity, respect your roots, and serve with purpose, you're not just building a company, you're building an empire that lasts. Do not let wisdom surpass action, a Talmudic lesson in practical wisdom. In the vast treasury of Jewish teachings, the Talmud stands as one of the most profound sources of spiritual and intellectual insight. Among its many lessons, one principle resonates powerfully in both ancient and modern contexts: do not let wisdom surpass action. This deceptively simple teaching carries within it a deep and timeless message. Knowledge, no matter how profound, is ultimately meaningless if it is not transformed into action. At its core, this lesson emphasizes the importance of balance between thinking and doing. In a world increasingly filled with information, theories, and philosophies, it is easy to fall into the trap of endless contemplation. We study, we discuss, we plan, but often we fail to act. The Talmud warns us against this imbalance. Wisdom is not meant to remain an abstract treasure locked in the mind. It is a tool, a guide, a map, but a map is useless if we never begin the journey. This teaching is particularly relevant in business, personal growth, and moral responsibility. Many entrepreneurs and leaders spend years learning strategies, reading case studies, attending seminars, and crafting business models. Yet the greatest successes often come not from those who knew the most, but from those who dared to take the first step, who were willing to fail, adjust, and try again. In this light, the Talmudic principle becomes a call to courage. Action, even imperfect action, creates momentum. It is through doing that knowledge is tested, refined, and made real. Moreover, this lesson also reminds us of integrity. Knowing what is right is not enough. Righteousness lies in doing what is right. A person who speaks wisely but acts selfishly undermines the very essence of wisdom. In Jewish tradition, the true sage is not the one who knows the most, but the one whose actions reflect what they know. Thought without deed is a tree without fruit. It may look impressive, but it nourishes no one. In a broader sense, do not let wisdom surpass action is a philosophy of living with purpose. It challenges the ego that seeks to appear intelligent without being useful. It dismantles the illusion that thinking alone makes us virtuous or valuable. Real growth, spiritual, emotional, and professional only, happens when insight is married to effort. For those pursuing success, influence, or meaning, this Talmudic teaching offers a critical insight. Execution is everything. Learn deeply, yes, but let every lesson push you to act. Let your knowledge become kindness, your strategy become progress, your wisdom become service. Only then can the mind and the hands work together to build something lasting. In conclusion, the lesson from the Talmud is not an indictment of learning, but a reminder of its purpose. Wisdom is sacred, but it reaches its highest form only when it becomes visible in our deeds. We honor knowledge not by collecting it, but by living it. In the world of business, having great ideas, deep knowledge, and well-crafted strategies can serve as a solid foundation. However, if all of that remains only in the mind, never translated into concrete steps, it holds no real value. The Talmud teaches us a profound truth. Wisdom only becomes meaningful when it leads to action. The key takeaways for business from this principle are as follows. Action produces results. An entrepreneur might master every business model, thoroughly study the market, and build perfect plans. But if they never take action, ever test, execute, or take risks, they remain someone who knows rather than someone who does. Success comes from initiative. The Jewish mindset embraces the power of effort. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They start first, adapt along the way, and learn through doing. That's how knowledge becomes real-world outcomes. Practical mindset over perfectionism. In business, the pursuit of a flawless plan often leads to missed opportunities. This philosophy teaches us that you don't need to know everything to begin. You just need enough to take the first step. The rest will unfold through experience. Learning by doing. Successful people don't just read books. They apply what they learn. This story challenges every entrepreneur to ask themselves daily, what action have I taken today based on what I know? So ultimately, this lesson from the Talmud isn't just a moral teaching. It's a powerful, practical principle for anyone in business, from startup founders to seasoned leaders. Don't just know, do it. The art of wise negotiation, when ego takes a step back. In the realm of business, negotiation is an inevitable skill, one that often determines success or failure, profit or loss, partnership or rivalry. The story of a Jewish businessman who faced a tough negotiation with humility and strategic intelligence is a testament to the strength of character that defines much of Jewish commercial wisdom. This story is not just about making a deal, it's about mastering oneself in the process. The man, a successful merchant in Eastern Europe, had built a reputation for quality and fairness. One day, a key supplier proposed new terms that were clearly less favorable. The merchant, recognizing the importance of the partnership, requested a meeting rather than reacting emotionally. Instead of letting pride dictate his response, he approached the situation with a calm and composed mind. During the discussion, he carefully listened to the supplier's concerns and underlying pressures. He didn't interrupt, or argue. He asked questions, sought understanding, and acknowledged the supplier's position. In doing so, he turned a potential conflict into an opportunity to deepen mutual trust. Rather than demanding what he believed he deserved, the merchant proposed a solution that balanced both their needs, a win-win approach that ultimately strengthened their long-term collaboration. His ego was not the driver. Wisdom and foresight were over. This story showcases a recurring theme in Jewish business philosophy. Negotiation is not about winning over others, but about winning with others. The lesson here is both powerful and practical. In many business environments, especially competitive ones, ego often clouds judgment. People strive to win at any cost, leading to short-term gains but long-term damage. The Jewish approach, as shown in this story, is markedly different. It promotes self-restraint, empathy, and the art of listening. These qualities not only make one a better negotiator, but a better human being. This story also reflects a broader truth. Leadership in business isn't just about making sharp decisions. It's about building relationships, nurturing respect, and keeping one's pride in check. True strength lies in knowing when to stand firm and when to bend for the greater good. In negotiation, as in life, those who master their ego often end up mastering their success. One of the most crucial lessons in business, drawn from the story of the wise Jewish negotiator, is the importance of emotional intelligence over pride. In negotiations, success is not always about being the loudest voice in the room or asserting dominance. Rather, it lies in the ability to listen, understand, and seek mutual benefit. The businessman's refusal to let his ego dictate the outcome allowed him to preserve a valuable relationship and craft a solution that benefited both parties. This highlights a key principle in Jewish business thinking. Long-term partnerships are far more valuable than short-term victories. Moreover, the story emphasizes that empathy, patience, and humility can be far more powerful tools in business than aggression or pride. Ultimately, it reminds us that mastering one's ego is a strategic asset that leads to sustainable success. The Diamond Merchant, a lesson in smart negotiation. At a trade fair in Antwerp, the world's diamond capital, a Jewish businessman named Eliyahu, known for his exceptional negotiation skills, encountered a high-profile buyer from Dubai. The client offered to purchase an entire batch of rough diamonds, but at a price 15% lower than what Eliyahu had expected. Instead of rejecting the offer or countering it immediately, Eliyahu simply smiled and paused in silence for a few moments. Then, he calmly said, "Do you know why so many people prefer to buy from me? Because I never sell anything I don't believe has real value." This subtle response made the client pause and reflect. After a moment of silence, the buyer asked, "So what do you think is a fair price?" Eliyahu didn't answer directly. Instead, he took out a diamond from the lot, handed it over for inspection, and said, "If you want a lower price, you're welcome to choose stones of lesser quality. But if you value long-term trust, I think you already know what's worth investing in." In the end, the buyer agreed to pay nearly the full price, with one condition: to receive priority in future orders. Eliyahu agreed, and from that point on, they became long-term business partners. Jewish business people are renowned not only for their negotiation skills, but also for their patience, long-term thinking, and the ability to influence through emotion, silence, and strategic communication. They don't fight for victory in every sentence. They focus on building mutual benefit and lasting success. Reinvesting in the community, the Jewish circle of success. One of the most remarkable traits of Jewish business philosophy is the deep-rooted commitment to community. The story of Morris Greenberg, a successful Jewish tailor in New York during the early 20th century, exemplifies this ideal. Having started with a small tailor shop in a modest Jewish neighborhood, Maurice slowly built his business from scratch, sewing, repairing, and customizing clothes with great care and respect for his clients. His key to success, however, wasn't just hard work or business sense, but a philosophy anchored in reinvesting into the people around him. Instead of hoarding his profits or moving his business to a wealthier district, Morris chose to stay. He used his earnings to help other Jewish immigrants open their own shops, provided apprenticeships to young men in the neighborhood, and even donated part of his profits to the local synagogue and school. At first, this seemed like simple charity, but over time, his efforts created a circle of growth. Those he helped became loyal suppliers, clients, and even future partners. His neighborhood thrived, which in turn attracted more customers and talents, bringing even more opportunities for his own enterprise. At first, this seemed like simple charity. But over time, his efforts created a circle of growth. Those he helped became loyal suppliers, clients, and even future partners. His neighborhood thrived, which in turn attracted more customers and talents, bringing even more opportunities for his own enterprise. This story highlights a profound insight. Economic success does not need to be isolated, it can be shared and multiplied. The Jewish concept of tzedakah, charity, is not just about giving for the sake of virtue, but about creating a sustainable, mutual ecosystem. When one invests in the community, that community becomes stronger, more capable, and more supportive in return. Morris Greenberg's tailor shop eventually became a renowned local brand, but more importantly, it became a symbol of how personal success can contribute to collective prosperity. In the modern business world, this lesson is increasingly relevant. Companies that integrate social responsibility and community support into their core mission are not only respected but also more sustainable in the long run. Jewish entrepreneurs have long understood this. A thriving community is the foundation of resilient and ethical capitalism. Ultimately, the success of Maurice Greenberg is not just measured by his financial growth, but by the lives he helped uplift and the virtuous circle of success he initiated. His legacy teaches us that in business, true greatness lies in building something that grows beyond oneself. After exploring 5 extraordinary stories of Jewish business wisdom, TY Production hopes to deliver more than just historical anecdotes. We aim to offer transformative lessons. These are not simply tales of success, but distilled experiences, sharpened through generations of practice, struggle, and strategic thinking. From mastering negotiation without ego, reinvesting into the community, applying wisdom in action, to spotting opportunities with clever vision, each story contains essential keys that unlock enduring prosperity. What makes Jewish business thinking so exceptional is not merely intelligence, but the courage to act wisely, the ability to build with others, and the clarity to focus on long-term impact over short-term gain. These stories reflect a culture of discipline, resilience, and constant learning traits that any entrepreneur can adopt, regardless of background. By applying these insights, be it through smarter negotiations, bold but thoughtful risk-taking, or building a network grounded in mutual benefiture, not just doing business, you are crafting a legacy. And with consistent effort, these lessons can help you not only survive in the competitive market, but thrive, eventually building your own empire. So if you've made it this far, we encourage you. Don't just listen, take action. Let these stories guide your business path. And if they resonate with you, leave a comment sharing your thoughts or challenges. Like and share the video to spread the knowledge. Your next breakthrough could start here with a story, a mindset, and a decision to rise.
Wishing all of you great health, endless blessings, and success in everything you do. If this video inspired you or gave you something valuable, don't hesitate to leave a comment sharing your thoughts or any challenges you're facing. We'd love to hear from you. Hit that like button, subscribe to T.Y Production, and share this video to help our channel grow and reach more people. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.